Unless we're going to cast spells, which for the time being right now just base, we're going to look at only the physical damage that the Barlgura can do. To recap, since unfortunately you couldn't see the screen, we have the Barlgura, Large Fiend, so we have the 15 AC, 8 hit dice, all the stats here of 18, 15, 16, 7, 14, and 9 should be a CR 5. We have all of the base information out of the way here, so let's take a look at our monster skills area, from saving throws to challenge rating 5. Now the Barlgura does have a 2 saving throws of Dex and Constitution, but because it's only 0 to 2, we won't bother modifying the saving throws at all, and we won't get any bonus from there. But it does have damage resistances to cold, fire, and lightning. So because it's 3 conditions, and we'll go ahead and throw in damage resistances here. So we have resistances for the Barlgura, which will give us a 50% more hit points because of those resistances. So this is definitely not a friend to casters because of the cold, fire, and lightning. But we do also have damage immunities of poison, but because it's only 1 condition, we skip over that. We need at least a minimum of 3 to use that for calculating extra hit points and whatnot. Then there's also condition immunities and the rest of this information, but we don't worry about that. It doesn't matter. So we'll skip over that. So next we'll move down into the monster traits here, and we have innate spellcasting, reckless, and running leap. So for innate spellcasting, we have, let's see, all right, no daily ones. We have 1 day and 2 day each for Entangle, Phantasmal Force, and Disguise Self, Invisibility Self only. All right, some of those are probably going to be pretty good. Entangle for sure, Phantasmal Force maybe, and an Invisibility obviously, but because it takes an action to cast, it won't be as potent as the Superior Invisibility. So we're going to skip over the innate spellcasting for the time being, and we'll come back to that if the CR isn't looking correct. Like if it's overrated, then we'll come back to this section here. So we'll move down into Reckless next, and Reckless, the Barlgura gains advantage on all melee attacks, but it also takes disadvantage just like every Barbarian. If you were to go into the custom monster section for the DMG and you look at Reckless, there's actually a dash. It takes no effect on the CR, so we can skip over that. And then lastly, we have Running Leap. The Barlgura's long jump is up to 40 feet and its high jump is 20 feet. Besides innate spellcasting, nothing else is really going to modify the CR 4 or 5 for the Barlgura. So let's move into the action section, and if we have to, we'll come back to the spell section later. The Barlgura has a multi-attack of 3 attacks, 1 with its bite and 2 with its fists. So let's take a look at what we have for our bite and fists. Luckily, both weapons, or both attacks here, have a +7 to hit. So we'll come over here to the side in our offensive section and add in that +7. And we'll take a look at the bite. And the bite here, we have 2d6 + 4. So we can go ahead and pop that in here, 2d6, and then +4 from strength for a total of 11. And then on top of that, we also have the fist, which is 1d10, also plus the strength for 4, giving us 9.5 points of damage. So we have our 2 attacks set up, and we have a multi-attack. So we'll go ahead and we'll add in the multi-attack here of the 1 bite plus 2 of the fists. We get a total of 30 damage per round from the Barlgura's multi-attack. Unless we're going to cast spells, which for the time being right now just base, we're going to look at only the physical damage that the Barlgura can do. We'll do this every round of combat. So let's see here. This will just be the multi-attack times 3 rounds of combat. And we get a 90, and surprisingly enough, we have a CR 5 already. So right now, with the Barlgura, base alone, just the physical damage, we have a CR 5.